Hello, Miss Madmore and Miss Sauce class. This is problem set module 5, lesson 7. So number 1 says, Jeffrey's first planter is 8 feet long and 2 feet wide. So we have 8 feet long, 2 feet wide. The container is filled with soil to a height of 3 feet in the planter. What is the volume of the soil in the planter? So if you were to draw the planter, just to make a quick rectangular prism right here, and we were to fill the soil, and the soil was kind of like right here, and this right here is all the soil. So if we said that this was the soil, and this was 8 feet on this side, and this was 2 feet wide, of course this is not drawn to scale, and then it said that it was 3 feet high, that would be just 3 feet high. That doesn't mean the planter's 3 feet high, it just means the soil is packed 3 feet high. So if that was the amount of the soil, then the volume would equal length times width times height, and that would be 8 feet times 2 feet times 3 feet. 8 times 2 times 3. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 3 is 48 feet, and 3 numbers, cubic, so it's cube. So there would be, or there is, 48 feet cubed of soil in the planter. Okay, Jeffrey wants to grow some tomatoes in 4 large planters. He wants each planter to have a volume of 320 cubic feet, but he wants them all to be different. Show how 4 different ways Jeffrey can make these planters. So technically, volume equals length times width times height. What you need in all of these is you need your answer to equal 320. Now, any 3 ways you can do this dimension will be fine. For example, if we decided to do 10 is the length, and 8 is the width, so that would be 80. And I know 8 times 4 would be 32, so then I could do 4 here. I can do 10 feet. I can do 8 feet back. And then I can connect this all. And then my height right here, that might be 4 feet. So that would be 8 times 10 times 4, which would be 320 feet squared. So that'd be 320 feet cubed. Now I did a 10, an 8, and a 4. So this time on planter B, let me try some different numbers. So on B, what if I did 16 times 20? Well, 16 times 20 right there, that would be 320. Because 16 times 2 is 32 plus a 0. Well, how can I get that to stay 320? I could times it by 1 for its height. So now my volume would be 16 times 20 times 1, which would also equal 320 feet cubed. So 16 by 20, that would be something really long. And that would be something really far back. But it would also be very, very, very short. So 16, this would be 20, and this would only be 1 foot tall. That's 2 different measurements. Let's see if we can come up with 2 completely different measurements. And again, you might have different answers to these or different numbers to these, but they do all have to multiply to equal 320 feet squared. Or 20 feet cubed, 20 cubic feet. So this time, let's do volume equals length times width times height. Let's do 32 feet, which is that times 2, so 32 feet. But this time, let's do 2 feet high. So 32 times 2 would be 64. Then if we take the 64 and we times it by 5, that would be another way to come up with it. So in other words, when I took the 5 times 2, that equaled 10. And 32, so I kind of decomposed these numbers up here. That's how I kind of figured it. Or 5 times 2 is 10, 10 times 32 is 320 feet cubed. Now this one would be 32 feet across. That's going to be pretty long. So that's going to be 32. It's only going to be 5 feet back, which would be something like that. So it's going to be a very flat, very long box, like so. And then 2 feet high right there. And then for our last one, let's do volume equals length times width times height. So let's do let's do 8 by 8, because I know that will also equal 64. So 8 times 8 would be 64, and then 64 times 5 would definitely equal 320. So if I did 8, and back here I did 8, so 8 times 8, and then I just did 5 high. So 8 times 8 is 64. 64 times 5 would be 320 feet cubed. So that's 4 different dimensions. So 885, 1622, 1084, 3252. So those all have different dimensions. So that way you're not just changing the 8 and the 5. You didn't just say 8 by 5 by 8. You didn't just switch those numbers around. All right, we'll do part 2 in just a second.